plan to go ahead and go over how to do a quick cinematic with sequencer, and I'm actually not going to build it up from scratch because I've already got quite a few cinematics here to pick from. So we're just going to go to we're going to go to my staircase cinematic over here. Oh yeah, no. I put it elsewhere. IGC3 trigger. There it is. I was on the wrong thing. Jump to event, on actor, begin overlap. There we go. So, um, this is the basic blueprint for it. When you want your cutscenes to trigger, you don't want it to trigger every time you go in and out of a door or in and out of the area. So unless that is what you want, but most people only want to sit and watch your cutscene once. So you drag it off to a do once, and then you do the same thing that you did for your doors. If you haven't seen that video, watch that one first. So you set the cinematic mode for actual cinematics. That's going to be the difference here, because for the doors it was just create level sequence player, play, and then it was done, right? This time we want to set cinematic mode. So that would literally be come on, start typing. Set cinematic mode, you start typing it, it'll autocomplete. You prop that out, and none of that will be filled in, so you want a checkbox to start cinematic mode, and clicking any of this tells it what to do in cinematic mode. So if you want the player to be hidden for the cinematic because they would be in the way from where it starts, like the camera starts from behind where the player was, whatever, you can choose to hide the player. Effects HUD means that it'll hide all of your HUD elements if you have any built in, but you shouldn't for this project. Affects movement. That means that your character can't move around willy-nilly when their cutscene is active, and affects turning, same thing as the movement. So you want to set the cinematic mode to stop them in their tracks, make them watch the cinematic, and make sure that you put a delay. You have to end cinematic mode, or else you're not going to get control of the character again. So you have to make sure that you put set cinematic mode, make sure it has the same things checked off, and has cinematic mode checked off there. And the delay, you want to set the delay to be equal to the duration of your cinematic, because you don't want the cinematic mode to, hold them hostage for longer than they want to be held or anything like that. So, our sequence player, camera 2, shot 1. So, if I go to camera 2, shot 1, it's my sequence actor. So, if I open up the sequence for this, I'm only really tracking one actor here. You don't have to worry about the fade. That's something I did to embellish a little bit. But the camera actor, you can use whatever camera is available. Yeah, you can use any of these cameras. I used the Cine Camera Actor because it had a few different focus options, so that way I could zoom out without changing the position of it and things like that. It might be a little bit too extra. You could do just fine using the regular camera. The camera systems in this are amazing. So you just pick a camera, you drop it down, and you attach it the same way I showed you how to attach a door component, right? So you go to track. While you have that particular thing selected, you go to add actor to sequencer, and then you can find it above the search bar. You attach it, and it's the same thing as the door. The only difference is that since it's tracking a camera, it's going to show the camera. The camera's going to take over the character essentially when you initiate cinematic mode and activate this sequence, right? So everything else after that is literally just take control of the camera. I will show you how to do that because that is something that is a little kind of out there and different. Ah, there we go. Starting cinematic cam, stairwell cam. There it is. So when you have a camera selected there, you can right click and you can go to pilot, and that changes your viewport to be the perspective of the camera, which means any movements that you do in the viewport now are affecting the camera. So you start your camera wherever you want your cinematic to start, and then you take control of it. You set your keyframes at the 0 position where you want the cinematic to start looking, and then you drag it off to whatever the next, like this one was a second and a half. For 45 frames is a second and a half. And then I moved the camera to the position I wanted it at, and then Unreal kind of filled in the smoothing process of going from point A to point B. And if Unreal doesn't do a good enough job of that, because sometimes it does add unnecessary twists and stuff to the way it moves, if you don't like the way that looks, you can click this right here, show the animation keys in a curve editor. Now this can get a little dicey, I'll be honest. So you go to your Cinecamera actor, you go to the transforms, and then you click on one of these, like location, rotation, and scale. Those concepts should be very, very easy to grasp and understand in small bite-sized things here, because we use it in everything we do in the gaming industry, right? Location, rotation, scale. So this is going to be its location on the map. This is going to be what rotation it has. So I rotated it to obviously look up the stairwell, and then I had it rotate a little bit while it was traveling and moving up that z-axis, going up in that direction. As we see, we can drag this and you can see the curvature, what these curves are doing to the camera's movement. So you set out the general outline of what you want to do in the sequencer, just using the regular sequencer. Set out your basic, like where you want your camera to go, and then if it looks choppy, if it doesn't look good, you click there, you go to curve editor, and then you can click into that right there, and then you can go ahead and start messing with that. You see, this is my z-axis, this is what's making it go up or down. And if you don't want one side of that curve to affect the other side, you can right click and go to break. And now whenever I move this one, it's only moving that side. And that means that when it comes back down to it, it's not going to affect where it was here. So that's it for the tutorial on this, honestly, because everything else is just based on your creative flow, what you want to do with it. You've got the tools now. Have fun.